Hopefully. It's working. There we go. Hi. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody? Good, I hope. Oh, I'm late to my own stream. Again. Again. It's fine. It's fine. How's everybody? Everybody doing good? I hope. I hope. I'm hanging in. Hanging in there. I know. And Sarah, you're too close. Sorry. It's fine. There. It's fine. I'm trying to get situated. Just getting situated. It's been a morning already. The birds are out next door. Holy shit. Damn turkey. There's a turkey. I can't stand it. Oh, well, hello. How are you? Just losing it. Losing my mind. What's going on, sister? Sorry I'm late. How are you? What's new? How's Mike? How's things? How's your weather? It's supposed to go up to almost 60 here today, and then it's supposed to snow tomorrow. I'm over winter. I'm done. Done with it. Just so you know. Over it. The river is flooded, and there's waterfowl everywhere. there, there was a whole gaggle of geese over here last night because we have a part of the river. Ooh, too much to get into. This a phone call for later? Please let me know. Oh, I needed that. Oh, I wish it was an Irish cup of tea, but it is not. Yeah. All right. As long as you're good. Maybe in a few weeks. Okay. Oh boy. I hear ya. I hear ya. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think like this time of year is always nuts though. It's like we're anxious for spring. Nothing's happening fast enough. Oh my God. Every time we think, me too. I think it should just be me and you. Let's just go somewhere warm. Just me and you. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, that'd be nice. Just where we don't have to do anything. I know, right? And everything is just brought to us and we don't have to coddle anybody emotionally or physically. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful. Yeah. Mhm. Sounds great. Sounds great. There's a reason the title for this stream today is overcoming overwhelmness and not giving up because your brother is um starting to, and I want to strangle him because we're not at a good point for him to start feeling this way. Yeah, and I can't have him doing that right now. Not now. Not now. No. No, now's not a good time for that. Nope. We have stuff to do. and I am bending over backwards trying to do stuff. Oh, I know. I know. And he, yay, 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 yay. Oh. And of course, he's a steel trap, and now he won't talk. And it's like, oh, I just want to, you know, you know, you know. So, yeah. I don't know. He won't talk to me. I get very curt, short replies text wise. Yeah. So, I just don't want him, I don't know, getting overwhelmed, too overwhelmed. I know you are. I know you are. I know you are. And I don't want him getting all upset like he was before. And, I just got him to where he was like in a good space. And now he's starting to not be in a good space again. And, oh, I hate it. He was doing so good. He was doing so good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so today uh is never giving up. We can't give up, right? I know that too. I know. Yeah. And it's like I said, it's this time of year. We're waiting on the weather to break. Like today is a nice day, kind of, well, it's raining, but I mean, it's warm. I mean, my mom was out on the back deck cleaning and washing windows before they left this morning. It's nice out. Um, but it's only going to last today. So, people are at that breaking point of we've had enough of winter, but we know it's not over yet, and it's just dragging. We're at the dragging point. And we know once stuff gets moving with our house, it's going to go so fast, but we really can't do anything until we close on our house. And so we're kind of like, oh shit, that's where we're at. We're at an oh shit point right now. Like, what are we going to do? Like, really, what are we going to do? So it's kind of scary right now. Well, not even just that. It's like where, I'm okay because I'm at my mom's, but my mom won't let Duke and the cats come here. Oh, yeah. So anyway, today's stream is going to be about not giving up. Never giving up. Don't give up. Um 25% of adults often feel difficulties piling up so high they can't overcome them. 25%. That's a lot. That's a lot. One third of people say they feel completely stressed out and overwhelmed most days. These moments of intense pressure can make anyone want to throw in the towel. But today we're going to flip the script on this feeling, okay? We're going to figure it out. So, welcome to my live stream on not giving up when you're feeling overwhelmed. So, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being here. And if you're just catching the replay, that's fine too, as long as you're watching. I don't care. I don't care. And if you're watching the YouTube recording, excellent. That's great. That's great. So I'm going to share real stories with you today, stories of perseverance, and strategies to push through. So this is what we're talking about, not giving up. All right. Um, I have this inspiring speech, and you guys might have heard it before, from Admiral McRaven, the Make Your Bed speech. Love it. Love this speech. I've used it with my oldest son when he was going through a really hard time, and it worked with him. It's such a good speech. It's so inspiring. Um, and I'm gonna give you guys like a little toolkit of motivation, renewed energy, just to face, the challenges that are weighing all of us down, especially right now. This is a hard time for people that especially live in the north. It's hard for us right now. So, I like it when we're interactive, but I understand when we're not. A lot of people that watch during, this time frame are working or driving, so being interactive is hard, and that's fine. I completely understand. Um, I'm probably going to do a lot of breathing exercises like I usually do. Those are so important. I was doing them yesterday with my youngest son. We did some box breathing. He needed to calm down a little bit. He's in a tough situation. So, and it's just, it works. It works. And I've told even, my husband to at work while he's, working on his machines. Nobody needs to know you're doing these things, right? Just do them. Nobody needs to know. You're not being dramatic about it. You're just breathing. You're just taking some deep breaths. It's not a big deal. So, the first story I want to start with is Colonel Sanders, believe it or not. KFC, Colonel Sanders, right? So he was 65 years old and broke. So you guys might not know this, but it took him a long time before he started KFC. And he faced rejection after rejection after rejection. He had a chicken recipe that he believed in. So he hit the road to sell his idea to restaurants. He was turned down 1,009 times. 1,009 before hearing his first yes. Can you? 1,009. That's insane. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's perseverance to be told no 1,008 times and to keep going. I mean, that takes a lot. Over 1,000 no's. That's crazy. But that's perseverance, right? I mean, would you keep going after that? Really? Would you? Because I'm thinking I might not, honestly. But I think back to the things I've done over the years, and there's things I'm doing that I was told I would never do. So I don't know. But is 1,010th time paid off big, right? Paid off big. And a restaurant agreed to partner with him. And by 1964, he had over 600 franchises selling Kentucky Fried Chicken. I mean, and we all know what happened. He was all over the place. He's not just nationwide, worldwide. Adam, hey, how are you? Hi, my friend. It's been so long. How's everything? Today I am talking about never giving up. I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing good. I was just doing the story about Colonel Sanders, the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy, right? Finger licking good and all that. A lot of people might not know that he was turned down 1,009 times before somebody partnered with him and he was able to open his first Kentucky Fried Chicken. 1,009 times. Can you imagine being told 1,009 times no? No. And he kept going anyway? That says a lot about this man, right? Perseverance? That's, yeah. Wow. I mean, hearing no hundreds and hundreds of times. Yeah, he needed a new hobby. He liked cooking chicken. And he had a really good recipe, right? But it's about perseverance and not giving up. He didn't give up, and feeling overwhelmed can paralyze people. It can. It can paralyze people. And there are concrete strategies to regain control and momentum. But we forget, we get so overwhelmed, right? We get so caught up in our overwhelmness that we are paralyzed and we feel like we're drowning and suffocating and there's no way out of it. And again, this is when we need to take a step back and kind of look at the whole situation and realize, deal with one thing at a time. Break everything down into small steps. When everything hits at once, prioritize and tackle one small thing at a time, like making a to-do list and focusing on the next task. Completing tiny steps gives you a win and builds confidence to move forward. Pause and breathe. Overwhelm often triggers panic. Take a moment to pause, close your eyes, take a deep breath, or even a short walk. Center yourself. This isn't wasting time, this is recharging. Okay, so you can attack the problem with a clear head. Like I said, take a step back, take a breath. It's like me when I overreact to stuff, I need to stop, take a step back, take a breath. Remind yourself of why. Remember why you're doing what you do. Maybe you're studying hard to build your dream, your career, or working overtime to support your family. Reconnecting with your purpose can reignite your motivation when you feel like quitting. Oh, when I was working 70 hours a week, there were times when, why am I doing this? And then I would look at my phone and see 5 faces. That's why. Because I had 5 kids, depending on just me. Just me. That was why. Why was I working 2 jobs? That's why. So I need to refocus instead of, why am I doing this? I know why I'm doing this, why I need to do this. And instead of trying to kill myself by working so many hours, I needed to find the right job that was for me in order to take care of my kids. And that's what I went to school for. That's why I did what I did. This one is so important. Seek support and speak up. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Reach out to a friend, family member, mentor, or even community here. Here. Sometimes just talking about what's overwhelming you can lighten the load. And that's what I'm here for. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody and maybe just gain a little new perspective, you know, it could help a little bit. And you need to embrace failure as a part of growth. It just, again, a new way of looking at it. Change your perspective on setbacks. Every failure is a proof that you're trying, right? And it often teaches a lesson that gets you closer to the success that you're looking for. The road to success is paved with trials. When you hit a wall, think of it like a lesson, not a lasting defeat. You need to remember this. You know, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. That feeling of being defeated, it sticks with you sometimes, but you need to remember, no, you get back up and you try again. And I tell my kids this all the time, try again. Use positive self-talk. That voice in your head can be a friend or an enemy. And you need to remember this and practice encouraging yourself as you would encourage a friend. Treat yourself like you would somebody you love. Instead of, I can't handle this, try, this is tough, but I will find a way through it. And I know it sounds cheesy. I know it sounds cheesy, but it works. Self talks work. Trust me. As I was putting my uniform on, looking in the mirror, going, why am I doing this? And then when I was fully in uniform, looking in the mirror, going, now I know why I'm doing this. Right? And then visualize the finish line. Take a moment to visualize overcoming your challenge. See yourself acing that exam, Adam, completing the project, or emerging stronger from a rough time. Visualization can reduce anxiety and build self confidence by mentally rehearsing success, right? So, this, oh my God, this speech, I love this speech. So, we're going to go to it, all right? So, Admiral William McRaven delivered an unforgettable commencement speech in 2014 called the Make Your Bed speech. Well, that's what everybody calls it. It's about how small habits and perseverance can change your life and even change the world. This speech is brimming with inspiring stories and life lessons that perfectly fit this theme of not giving up. Do you remember this, Adam? I love this speech so much. I love it so, so much. Oh, shut up. And there's 10 great lessons in here, but I you guys are going to know my favorite one. Okay? You're going to know right off the bat because I probably won't be able to get through it. So you're going to know. So, and I have the whole speech right here. The whole speech. The whole speech. All right. So, President Powers, Provost Venz, deans, members of the faculty, family and friends, and most importantly, the class of 2014. Congratulations on your achievement. It's been almost 37 years to the day that I graduated from UT. I remember a lot of things about that day. I remember I had a throbbing headache from a party the night before. I remember I had a serious girlfriend whom I later married. That's important to remember, by the way. And I remember that I was getting commissioned in the Navy that day. But of all things I remember, I don't have a clue who the commencement speaker was that evening. And I certainly don't remember anything they said. So acknowledging that fact, if I can make this commencement speech memorable, I will at least try to make it short. The university slogan is, what starts here changes the world. I have to admit, I kind of like it. What starts here changes the world. Tonight, there are almost 8,000 students graduating from UT. That great paragon of analytical rigor, Ask.com, says the average American will meet 10,000 people in their lifetime. That's a lot of folks. But if every one of you changed the lives of just 10 people, and each one of those people changed the lives of another 10 people, just 10, then in 5 generations, 125 years, the class of 2014 will have changed the lives of 800 million people. 800 million people. Think of it. Over twice the population of the United States. Go one more generation, and you could change the entire population of the world. 8 billion people. If you think it's hard to change the lives of 10 people, change their lives forever, you're wrong. I saw it happen every day in Iraq and Afghanistan. A young army officer makes the decision to go left instead of right down a road in Baghdad. And then 10 soldiers in a squad are saved from a close-in ambush. In Kandahar province, Afghanistan, a non-commissioned officer from the female engagement team senses something isn't right and directs the infantry platoon away from a 500-pound IED, saving the lives of a dozen soldiers. But if you think about it, not only were these soldiers saved by the decision of one person, but their children, yet unborn, were also saved. Their children's children were saved. Generations were saved by one decision, by one person. But change in the world can happen anywhere, and anyone can do it. So what starts here can indeed change the world. But the question is, what will the world look like after you change it? It will not be easy, but I'm confident that it will look much, much better. If you will humor this old sailor for just a moment, I have a few suggestions that may help you on your way to a better world. And while these lessons were learned during my time in the military, I can assure you that it matters not whether you ever served a day in uniform. It matters not your gender, your ethnic or religious background, your orientation, or your social status. Our struggles in this world are similar, and the lessons to overcome these struggles and to move forward, changing ourselves and the world around us, will apply equally to all. I have been a Navy SEAL for 36 years, but it all began when I left UT for basic SEAL training in Coronado, California. Basic SEAL training is 6 months of long, torturous runs in the soft sand, midnight swims in the cold water off San Diego, obstacle courses, unending calisthenics, days without sleep, and always being cold, wet, and miserable. It is 6 months of being constantly harassed by professionally trained warriors who seek to find the weak of mind and body and eliminate them from ever becoming a Navy SEAL. But the training also seeks to find those students who can lead in an environment of consistent stress, chaos, failure, and hardships. To me, basic SEAL training was a lifetime of challenges crammed into 6 months. So here are the 10 lessons I learned from basic SEAL training that hopefully will be of value to you as you move forward in life. Every morning in basic SEAL training, my instructors, who at the time were all Vietnam veterans, would show up in my barracks room, and the first thing they do was inspect my bed. If I did it right, the corners would be square, the covers pulled tight, the pillow centered just under the headboard, and the extra blanket folded neatly at the foot of the rack. Rack. That's Navy talk for bed. It was a simple task, mundane at best, but every morning we were required to make our bed to perfection. It seemed a little ridiculous at the time, especially considering we were aspiring to be real warriors, tough, battle-hardened SEALs. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task and another and another. By the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you will never do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. During SEAL training, the students are broken down into boat crews. Each crew is 7 students, 3 on each side of a small rubber boat and 1 coxswain to help guide the dinghy. Every day, your boat crew forms up on the beach and is instructed to get through the surf zone and paddle several miles down the coast. In the winter, the surf off San Diego can get to be 8 to 10 feet high and is exceedingly difficult to paddle through the plunging surf unless everyone digs in. Every paddle must be synchronized to the stroke count of the coxswain. Everyone must exert equal effort or the boat will turn against a wave and be tossed back on the beach. For the boat to make it to its destination, everyone must paddle. You can't change the world alone. You will need some help, And to truly get from your starting point to your destination takes friends, colleagues, the goodwill of strangers, and a strong coxswain to guide them. If you want to change the world, find someone to help you paddle. Over a few weeks of difficult training, my SEAL class, which started with 150 men, was down to just 35. There were now 6 boat crews of 7 men each. I was in the boat with the tall guys. But the best boat crew we had was made up of the little guys, the Munchkin crew, we called them. No one was over about 5'5". The Munchkin boat crew had one American Indian, one African American, one Polish American, one Greek American, one Italian American, and 2 tough kids from the Midwest. They out paddled, outran, outswam all the other boat crews. The big men in the other boat crews would always make good natured fun of the tiny flippers. The Munchkins put on their tiny feet before every swim. But somehow these little guys from every corner of the nation and the world always had the last laugh, swimming faster than everyone and reaching the shore long before the rest of us. SEAL training was a great equalizer. Nothing mattered but your will to succeed. Not your color, not your ethnic background, not your education, not your social status. If you want to change the world, measure a person by the size of their heart, not by the size of their flippers. Several times a week, the instructors would line up the class and do a uniform inspection. It was exceptionally thorough. Your hat had to be perfectly starched, your uniform immaculately pressed, and your belt buckle shiny and void of any smudges. But no matter how much effort you put into starching your hat or pressing your uniform or polishing your belt buckle, it just wasn't good enough. The instructors would find something wrong. For failing the uniform inspection, the students had to run fully clothed into the surf zone, then wet from head to toe, roll around on the beach until every part of your body was covered with sand. The effect was known as a sugar cookie. You stayed in that uniform for the rest of the day, cold, wet, and sandy. There were many students who just couldn't accept the fact that all their effort was in vain, that no matter how hard they tried to get the uniform right, it was unappreciated. Those students didn't make it through training. Those students didn't understand the purpose of the drill. You were never going to succeed. You were never going to have a perfect uniform. Sometimes, no matter how well you prepare or how well you perform, you still end up as a sugar cookie. It's just the way life is sometimes. If you want to change the world, get over being a sugar cookie and keep moving forward. Every day during training, you were challenged with multiple physical events: long runs, long swims, obstacle courses, hours of calisthenics, something designed to test your mettle. Every event had standards, times you had to meet. If you failed to meet those standards, your name was posted on a list, and at the end of the day, those on the list were invited to a circus. A circus was 2 hours of additional calisthenics, designed to wear you down, to break your spirit, to force you to quit. No one wanted a circus. A circus meant for that day you didn't measure up. A circus meant more fatigue. A more fatigue meant that the following day would be more difficult. And more circuses were likely. But at some time during SEAL training, everyone made the circus list. But an interesting thing happened to those who were constantly on the list. Over time, those students who did 2 hours of extra calisthenics got stronger and stronger. The pain of the circuses built inner strength and physical resiliency. Life is filled with circuses. You will fail. You will likely fail often. It will be painful. It will be discouraging. At times, it will test you to your very core. But if you want to change the world, don't be afraid of circuses. That one is my favorite. At least twice a week, the trainees were required to run the obstacle course. The obstacle course contained 25 obstacles, including a 10-foot high wall, a 30-foot cargo net, and a barbed wire crawl, to name a few. But the most challenging obstacle was the slide for life. It had a 3-level, 30-foot tower at one end and a 1-level tower at the other. In between was a 200-foot long rope. You had to climb the three-tier tower, and once at the top, you grabbed the rope, swung underneath it, and pulled yourself hand over hand until you got to the other end. The record for the obstacle course had stood for years. When my class began training in 1977, the record seemed unbeatable until one day a student decided to go down the slide for life head first. Instead of swinging his body underneath the rope and inching his way down, he bravely mounted the top of the rope and thrust himself forward. It was a dangerous move, seemingly foolish and fraught with risk. Failure can mean injury and being dropped from the training. Without hesitation, the student slid down the rope perilously fast. Instead of several minutes, it only took him half that time, and by the end of the course, he had broken the record. If you want to change the world, sometimes you have to slide down the obstacle head first. During the land warfare phase of training, the students are flown out to San Clemente Island, which lies off the coast of San Diego. The waters of San Clemente are a breeding ground for great white sharks. To pass SEAL training, there are a series of long swims that must be completed. One is the night swim. Before the swim, the instructors joyfully brief the trainees on all of the species of sharks that inhabit the waters off San Clemente. They assure you, however, that no student has been eaten by a shark, at least not recently. But you are also taught that if a shark begins to circle your position, stand your ground. Do not swim away. Do not act afraid. And if the shark, hungry for a midnight snack, darts towards you, then sum up all your strength and punch him in the snout. He will turn and swim away. There are a lot of sharks in the world. If you hope to complete this swim, you will have to deal with them. So if you want to change the world, don't back down from the sharks. As Navy SEALs, one of our jobs is to conduct underwater attacks against enemy shipping. We practice this technique extensively during basic training. The ship attack mission is where a pair of SEAL divers is dropped outside an enemy harbor and then swims well over 2 miles underwater, using nothing but a depth gauge and a compass to get their target. During the entire swim, even well below the surface, there is some light that comes through. It is comforting to know that there is open water above you. But as you approach the ship, which is tied to a pier, the light begins to fade. The steel structure of the ship blocks the moonlight. It blocks the surrounding street lamps. It blocks all ambient light. To be successful in your mission, you have to swim under the ship and find the keel, the center line, and the deepest part of the ship. This is your objective. But the keel is also the darkest part of the ship, where you cannot see your hand in front of your face, where the noise from the ship's machinery is deafening, and where it is easy to get disoriented and fail. Every SEAL knows that under the keel, at the darkest moment of the mission, is the time when you must be calm, composed, when all the tactical skills, your physical power, and all your inner strength must be brought to bear. If you want to change the world, you must be your very best in the darkest moment. The 9th week of training is referred to as Hell Week. It is 6 days of no sleep, constant physical and mental harassment, and one special day at the Mud Flats. The Mud Flats are an area between San Diego and Tijuana where the water runs off and creates the Tijuana Slough, a swampy patch of terrain where the mud will engulf you. It is on Wednesday of Hell Week that you paddle down to the mud flats and spend the next 15 hours trying to survive the freezing cold mud, the howling wind, and the increased pressure to quit from the instructors. As the sun begins to set that Wednesday evening, my training class have committed some egregious infractions of the rules, was ordered into the mud. The mud consumed each man until there was nothing visible but our heads. The instructors told us we could leave the mud if only 5 men would quit. Just 5 men. And we could get out of the oppressive cold. Looking around the mud flat, it was apparent that some students were about to give up. It was still over 8 hours till the sun came up. 8 more hours of bone-chilling cold. The chattering teeth and shivering moans of the trainees were so loud it was hard to hear anything. And then one voice began to echo through the night. One voice raised in song. The song was terribly out of tune, but sung with great enthusiasm. One voice became two, and two became three, and before long everyone in the class was singing. The instructors threatened us with more time in the mud if we kept up the singing, but the singing persisted, and somehow the mud seemed a little warmer, the wind a little tamer, and the dawn not so far away. If we have learned anything in my time traveling the world, it is the power of hope, the power of one person: Washington, Lincoln, King, Mandela, even a young girl from Pakistan, Malala. One person can change the world by giving people hope. So if you want to change the world, start singing when you're up to your neck in mud. Finally, in SEAL training, there is a bell, a brass bell that hangs in the center of the compound for all the students to see. All you have to do to quit is ring the bell. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the freezing cold swims. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the runs, the obstacle course, the PT, and you no longer have to undo the hardships of training. Just ring the bell. If you want to change the world, don't ever, ever ring the bell. To the graduating class of 2014, you are moments away from graduating, moments away from beginning your journey through life, moments away from starting to change the world for the better. It will not be easy, but you are the class of 2014, the class that can affect the lives of 800 million people in the next century. Start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risk, step up when the times are toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never ever give up. If you do these things, then the next generation and the generations that follow will live in a world far better than the one we have today. And what started here will indeed have changed the world for the better. I love this speech. And yes, I didn't say the hook 'em horns part because it's University of Texas and all my nephews went to A&M, but still. It's such a good speech, right? Don't give up. Oh, thank you. It's so good. It is so good. Oh, it's the circuses that gets me though, right? It's the circuses. Stuff knocks you down, you just gotta keep going. Try again. Try again. Such a guy. Man, it's such a good speech. Don't fear the circuses. The circus of failure makes you stronger. You got a favorite part in there, Adam? I did the bed one with my oldest son when he was going through a really tough breakup and they had to go to custody court and all that stuff and he was just felt like he was losing everything and he just wanted to give up and was feeling unaccomplished. And I told him to make his bed. And I know it sounded so stupid. I know. I know. But it's still, I don't know, it still affects me. I just love that speech so much. Oh, I probably could have done a better job with it, honestly. But I just think it's a great, a great piece of writing, honestly. Um, but the make your bed part of it really helped my kid because even on days when he felt he didn't accomplish anything, even with his work, he's a specialty welder. Um, he said at least he made his bed. He accomplished one thing that day. If everything else went to shit, he said, at least he made his bed. And I was, I was so rough on my kids because I was in the Navy, and I still hospital corners and, you know, everything has to be square. And I raised my kids like that. Make sure your rooms are squared away. And man, and they still keep their rooms clean and their beds are made in the morning. And man, it was so funny. I used to tell them, I want your room clean like the president's coming to visit. One time my kid was like, "Mom, why the hell would the president come to our house?" I'm like, "You never know. You never know." But it was just something I said. It was funny. But it installed routine and discipline and something for them to be proud of, and accomplishment. When they came home from school, their rooms were clean and their beds were made and they felt accomplished even if they had a crap day at school. And now my son Denver, when he comes home from work, his house is clean and his bed's made and he feels accomplished, he says, even if he had a shit day at work. So I did something right. That's how I look at it. I don't know. But I guess my thing is, when you feel overwhelmed and exhausted and like nothing is going right, these are stories to look back on and strategies you can use. And feeling overwhelmed, it doesn't mean that you're a weak person. It means you're human and you're on the verge of growing, you know? And the darkest times often do produce the strongest people. On the nights when you're up to your neck in mud, literally or figuratively, you know, are when hope and perseverance matter the most. And even when you fail or fall off the rope head first, you can climb back up and try again. That's my thing. Don't give up. Try again. I mean, I've said this so many times over my life to myself, to my kids, to my husband. Don't give up. Try again. And each setback is a setting stage for a comeback, right? And if something didn't work out for you, try something else. It doesn't mean you have to try the same thing again. Try something else. I mean, it doesn't always mean trying the same thing. You could try something new. It doesn't mean, you don't want to go with, insanity here when try the same thing and expect a different result. You know what I mean? So, I'm just saying. I gave you a lot of stuff to think about. I like the speech. It's still relevant, even 11 years later. I think so. I don't know. I think it's a good one. You know, there's one time where you can ring the bell, and that's when you won your fight. You know, so I think it's good. So what's new, Adam? Tell me what's new. What's going on? How's school? It's Ash Wednesday. Hmm. I don't know if Teresa's still here. Who else is here? Who's all here? I know it. I know it. It's moving right along. Are you learning lots? I think you got spring break in what, a month or so? Pretending to learn lots. That's funny. Oh, that's good, I guess. You been up to anything else or just school? School leading everything right now? I have been learning lots. Yeah, I've been doing a lot. I've been doing a lot. I've been writing a lot. Been writing a lot. Finished the first chapter of my book, I think. Ugh. The first draft of my first chapter. How's that? Only took me 5 weeks. Oh, yeah. Got to get them off those socials. I've been not I mean, I only go on there to yeah. ADHD is rough, man. Telling like from somebody who knows. Yeah, it's hard. Like I don't really scroll on anything. I just post on stuff. Um, but usually I just advertise, then do my announcements. But I like Substack. I read on there a lot and Reddit. But I'm not reading like crap. I'm reading substantial stuff, stuff with substance. There's a big woodpecker at the bird feeder. ADHD. Hmm. But I found a lot of stuff on Substack that I like. Reddit, yeah. And I read on Medium a lot. But I don't go like on the bullshit ones. You know what I mean? People are just posting whatever. I don't know. It is pouring. My kids are on Reddit a lot and they tell me a bunch of stuff. And it's just like, how do you guys listen and read all that crap? Oh my God. It's funny. Every now and then I'll do I'll scroll through reels, but that's about it. And that's only for a few minutes. And that's just I'll blast my best friend. Oh, excuse me. With a crap ton of reels. But that's about it. I don't do the hours thing. I could never do that. I get bored. My mind doesn't allow me to do that. You know what it's like when you're. No, I have to be doing 4 or 5 things at once. No, no, I can't do it. I have to grab something real quick. Give me a sec. Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's why I don't get into all that. I don't get into all that. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get into all of no, I don't get into all that. I had some of my writing over there. I've been it is. It's a lot of brain rot. It's a lot of brain rot. Um the part of the book that I just finished writing is the part where I don't know if I told you this. My parents separated while I was in boot camp, and nobody told me until I came home on leave. Like, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, I had no time to adjust, digest it, not like it it hit me like a brick wall. Like, I had no idea. Like, I left, everything was fine. I came home. My parents picked me up from the airport, and on the drive home, my mom said, "We need to stop so you can drop me off at my apartment." That's how I was told that my parents split up. Like, what the hell is going on? That's the part I just finished writing. So it's been like an emotional craziness for me. That's why it took me 5 weeks to write the first chapter. Yeah, right? Thanks, guys. Yeah. No, not only did, the Gulf War breakout while I was in boot camp, but my parents split up. Hmm, you know, it's great. It's great. It's great. So, I was doing a lot of um, dealing with inner family connection, which is different parts of yourself, including the inner child. And my inner child was hurting bad, really, really bad. And so I wrote, and I wrote this thing. I don't even know what to call it. It's a thing. Um, I don't even know what to call it. I mean, I named it "Fighting for Her Inner Child," but I don't know if you want to call it an essay, a blurb. Um, it's a something. It's a something. But it was like I didn't even deal with my parents separate. Like I didn't have time to deal with my parents separation because I only came home for a week and I didn't even see my parents because I was 18 years old. I was off with my friends. So I didn't even it was really messed up time. So yeah. So it goes, she saw the child long before she acknowledged her. At first it was just glimpses, faint and fleeting, a shadow in the corner of her mind, a whisper in quiet moments when the world slowed down. But the child never left. She was small, fragile, with wide, wounded eyes that held the weight of too many years. Her hands clutched the edges of her sleeves. Her shoulders curled inward, as if bracing for the next storm. And in a way, the storm had already come. It had come the day her parents' marriage fell apart. She had been old enough to understand the words, but too young to process the loss. A teenager, standing on the threshold of adulthood, but feeling like a child abandoned in the wreckage of something she thought was unbreakable. The world still saw them as perfect. People whispered, but struggled to believe it. She overheard conversations where family friends would shake their heads and say, "They were the last ones I ever thought would split." She had thought the same thing. Her parents' marriage had been the foundation she built her world on. It wasn't just love, it was proof that some things lasted. It was the quiet certainty that no matter how chaotic life got, they were solid. Then they weren't. No big blow up, no warning, just a quiet unraveling that she never saw coming. And by the time she learned the truth, she was the last to know. In the moment, in that moment, she stopped believing in fairy tales. She had moved forward. At least that's what she told herself. She had learned to say the right things, to nod and smile and pretend it didn't hurt anymore. She built a life, took on responsibilities, became the kind of strong, independent person people admired. But the child inside never moved forward. The child still stuck in the moment it all fell apart, still standing in the wreckage of a marriage she thought was untouchable, still waiting for someone to fix it, still believing that love was supposed to last forever, and that belief followed her into adulthood. She tried to build her own marriages into the perfect picture of love she once thought her parents had. She worked to prove that love could last, that marriage could be beautiful and whole, just as she had imagined theirs had been. She fought for happily ever after, and when her marriages didn't last, she blamed herself. She saw each failed relationship as her failure. She had just done more. If she had just done more, been better, tried harder, maybe it could have worked. Maybe she could have held on to what her parents had lost. She hadn't just wanted love. She had wanted certainty. She had wanted proof that she wasn't doomed to repeat the past. And now, after all these years, she finally saw the truth. And then I wrote like this little, it's not quite a poem, it's more of a feeling, and it's called Grieving Together. The woman knelt, and this is me with my inner child. The woman knelt before the child, reaching out slowly, carefully, as if afraid she might disappear. I see you, she whispered. The child hesitated, the fingers curling around the fabric of her sleeves. She had waited so long to be seen, but trust was hard when you had been ignored for so many years. But the woman didn't look away. She opened her arms. And when the child finally collapsed into her, sobbing, shaking, shattering all over again, the woman didn't comfort her right away. Instead, she cried with her. She let herself grieve too, for her parents' marriage, for the illusion of stability, for the years she spent pretending she was okay, for the weight she had carried that was never hers to hold. She didn't hush the child's sobs. She didn't tell her it's okay, because it wasn't. Instead, she whispered, I know. It hurt me too. In that moment, for the first time, they mourned together. They sat on the wreckage side by side, not as two separate pieces of a fractured soul, but as one. And for the first time in years, the child believed her. And that's all going in the book. And then I have. Oh, thank you. It's been an emotional freaking roller coaster. Oh, that was the same one. I have another rendition of that one. I am not sure. I'm not sure. You leaving me? All right. Have a great day. It was good to see you. Take care. Canon and D is playing right now. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's so excited. So I found this passage, this story, I guess. Um and I love it so much. I just mm. And I call it The Saint and the Drowning Man because it didn't have a title to it. So this is what I just called it. And it says a man had fallen into a river. He was not a strong swimmer and struggled to keep his head above water. A crowd of concerned people stood at the edge, urgently shouting to him, "Give me your hand, give me your hand." Despite their pleas, the man continued to fight the waves and ignored them as he kept drowning. The crowd grew more anxious as they watched him struggle to take another breath. Then a saintly man approached the scene. He too cared about the drowning man, but decided to try something different. Calmly, he walked into the water until it reached his knees, looked lovingly at the drowning man, and said, "Take my hand." Much to everyone's surprise, the drowning man reached out and grasped the saint's hand. Together they emerged from the dangerous water. The drowning man sat on the riverbank, breathing heavily, looking relieved, exhausted, and grateful. The crowd turned to the saint and asked in puzzlement, "How were you able to reach him? Why didn't he heed our plea?" The saint replied calmly, "You all asked him for something, his hand. I offered him something, my hand." He continued, "A drowning man is in no position to give you anything." I'm going to repeat that. A drowning man is in no position to give you anything. Let us remember not to ask anything of someone who is drowning. When a person is breaking or broken, they are often exhausted and drained. Asking them to come to us and share their struggles is to ask them to do more when all they can manage is to stay afloat. So if you are that saintly soul who wishes to reach out to someone struggling to stay above water, go to them. But don't ask them to give you their hand. Instead, offer them your hand. Don't ask for their heart. Offer them your heart. Offer them your ear, your love, and your shoulder. Is that not great? Oh my God, I love that so much. Oh, I just thought that was amazing. I thought it was amazing. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna head out, guys. So I hope everybody has a great day. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. It's kind of a yucky day here. It's cloudy and rainy and meh. It's meh, but we'll see what happens. So, all right, guys. I hope everybody attempts to have a wonderful day. Again, I'm gonna try. So, I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Okay? All right, guys. Probably Friday. All right? Bye.